Next question, sure.
Cheryl Brown, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Just wanted to ask you a question about the China office, Chris Hickey, and all the things. I've gone to the site and seen all the meetings they've had. What do you think has been the major outcome of establishing the office there?
I think that the office, actually the offices, we have 3 offices now in China, one in Beijing, one in Shanghai, and one in Guangzhou. And I think that they have had enormous value already, and that value will continue to grow. First of all, they provide an opportunity for us to be on the ground, have a much better sense of what is happening that may influence safety of imports, drugs and medical products, but food and other products as well. It enables us to make sure that our counterpart regulatory authorities in China clearly understand the standards of the FDA and our expectations for quality and integrity of products that will be brought into the United States. It enables us to be on the ground doing inspections in ways that are much more easy to facilitate and support. And it enables us to work with local and regional industry as well, again, to inform them of our standards and expectations, to learn from them about concerns that they may have, and to really, I think, foster the kind of partnership between government and industry that's necessary to really uphold the kind of standards that are so important to safety and quality of goods that are being imported into the United States. So I think it's been really, quite an advance. And I had the opportunity to visit in August and was very, very impressed by the relationships that had been developed, the level of back and forth between SFDA, the Chinese counterpart of the U.S. FDA, and with industry and commerce in the country. So we are, as I said, actually expanding our international offices, because the ability to have that hub in a given region and to really work on the ground with key stakeholders and partners is invaluable.
Questions? Yes.
Commissioner, as you know, the issue of drug resistance knows no boundaries. The FDA has established offices in Asia and in Latin America, but none in sub-Saharan Africa, where resistant strains could easily migrate to the U.S. and threaten U.S. public health. When will the FDA establish an office in sub-Saharan Africa?
Well, we are having discussions. It's obviously a critical area in terms of addressing global health broadly, and also in addressing specific concerns of the FDA. We are working regionally in Africa now through various programs, including the PEPFAR program and our review of drugs that are made available through the PEPFAR program for the treatment of HIV/AIDS, as well as tuberculosis and other conditions. We also are working in sub-Saharan Africa with colleagues from the Gates Foundation on a very important project to try to look at ways to strengthen regulatory capacity in the region. And this is a high priority for me as commissioner. I think that it is essential that the U.S. FDA and our sister regulatory authorities in other parts of the world that are quite sophisticated and mature really work together to do everything that we can to help build regulatory capacity in the developing world. This matters to us in terms of raising the standards and oversight of products and important commodities that will be imported into the United States. It's important to those nations in the developing world, because by strengthening regulatory capacity in those countries, they will be able to assure their people a higher quality and safer set of medical products and food commodities as well. It will help support economic development in those countries because it will help support critical industries in those countries. And ultimately, it will help strengthen national and international security and safety for us all. So this is a very high priority for me and an aspect of the important work that we're now doing to really make sure that the United States FDA takes its place in a globalized world.
Commissioner, I think that it's safe to say there's probably a number of folks in this room that would be willing to assist in that endeavor. Many folks have been working in the developing world in a lot of the areas such as sub-Saharan Africa, so I'm sure you would have a great deal of partnership available there. Other questions?
Hi, I'm Gabriel Levitt from pharmacychecker.com. Thank you for all your efforts to ensure our safe supply of prescription drugs. One thing that hasn't been addressed often during the conference today, which has been a good one, is the problem of access, which is a problem of drug prices and drug affordability. There are now approximately 51 million Americans who don't have health insurance. There are some small percentage of Americans who do buy their drugs online and who do buy them from other countries, such as Canada. And the facts show that over the past 8 to 10 years, most of them have been able to do so safely and pursuant to a prescription. Are efforts to be taken by the FDA over the coming years going to do more to prevent them from doing so? Thank you.
Well, at the end of the day, we want to support access of Americans to the highest quality drugs that they can receive, drugs that are safe and effective and affordable, and we work towards the goal in many ways. I am, however, deeply concerned about the increasing use of the internet to access drugs, prescription and other drugs, because it is very hard to really verify where those drugs are coming from and assure the quality of those drugs. And we know from the activities we undertake every day at critical border entry points, mail stations, such as at JFK and other places where products come in, that we find drugs coming in that are not at all what they purport to be, that are grossly adulterated, that either have no relation to the product that they purport to be, or have too little or too much of the active ingredient, some actually containing toxic ingredients, others being merely totally ineffective, and thereby, in fact, putting people at risk because they may need these medications to treat serious medical conditions, and in fact, they are taking something that will not serve that purpose. So we take it very seriously, and we have seen numerous problems of this nature. We recognize that people need to be able to access drugs, but we think that we need to help inform them about how to do it in a way that will protect their safety. And I think nobody should access internet pharmacy sites without discussing it with their healthcare provider, and also making sure that the site they're ordering from, in fact, is accredited and legitimate internet pharmacy. Because even though it may say that they are, even though it may say that the drugs come from Canada, our experience is that that much of what is presented on these internet sites is of questionable legitimacy, and can put citizens at risk.
We have time for one more question. Oh, and we have it in the back. If you have a microphone, I
Yes, I do.
can't beat it.
Hi, Commissioner. First of all, it's a tremendous honor. My name is Troy Harbour-Jones, and I'm with the Canadian International Pharmacy Association. Following up on the last question, our association wants to be a part of the solution. We have licensed pharmacies. We sell the same brand drugs, same Pfizer, Lilly, Merck drugs, manufactured in Canada. And we've worked for the last 8 years to provide a safe, safe, workable, that is, medications that do the right thing, that work, and are at an affordable price. We've heard a lot of discussion today about counterfeit medicine, and there's two related issues as I see it. There are spurious drugs that will harm consumers, and there's intellectual property violations. We all agree that patients should have access to safe and affordable medications that work. What is the FDA doing to focus on making a clear distinction between spurious drugs on the one hand and drugs that are manufactured by the same brand manufacturers that have the same dosage form, the same delivery mechanisms? To all intensive purposes, they are the same drugs manufactured by the same brand manufacturers, but are somehow being swept into this title of counterfeit medicines.
Well, as a science-based regulatory agency with a public health mission, we are focused on those products that represent a risk to health. And we do believe strongly that the challenge of addressing the substandard counterfeit drugs must be our highest priority and our organizing principle. There are many fora for discussing aspects of this problem, and it is a broad set of issues, and it's not to minimize the importance of the intellectual property concerns to important aspects of industry and society. But for the FDA, our focus is on those products that represent a serious threat to health. And we are determined to work with our sister regulatory authorities around the world and with critical partners in the healthcare system, in industry, and of course the public to provide the best possible education about the risks, as well as aggressive action to reduce the risks.
Well, before I allow the Commissioner to go, I know that at the end of the program, there are a number of individuals, a number of folks and individuals representing the government, actually, Commissioner, that are looking to get together and have a dialogue in a number of these discussion areas. Department of Justice, Commerce, a number of representatives have said, I think this worked out the best way it could, is that because of these types of discussions, there's value in some collaboration posed. So I know some folks, just for reference, will be meeting in the room afterwards. Probably we'll just say over in that side of the room. But Commissioner, again, thank you very much for all of your work, for your leadership, and please join me in congratulating, welcoming, and thanking
Thank you.
Commissioner once again.
Thank you. Thank you.